Hey Pisces, happy March 2018. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. This is Dark Dove Tarot. I'm going to add a little more energy to the first deck, and then we'll pull a clarifying card from the second deck. So again, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. This is for Pisces, March 2018. Happy birthday. I'm sorry you guys are one of the last. But I had some private reads for some other signs, and I needed to get their videos out quick, just because I don't like to kind of meld the two, if that makes sense. So again, I hope you're doing fantastic. This is for singles and anybody looking to reconcile, but I generally focus on singles. So Pisces, let's see what we have in store for your birthday month for March. And if you've already had your birthday in February, then I hope you had a fantastic day. So let's get started. Again, this is general. So check your sun, moon, and rising, as some months those may resonate with you more than others. Let's see here. Okay. Any likes, subscribes, comments, etc. are greatly appreciated. It's always nice to get the comments and know what you guys like, what you don't like, how you're feeling, if it resonates with you. Again, I hope it resonates with the majority of you, but like I said, it's general. So check your sun, moon, and rising to see if those give you more clarity for the month. Likes, subscribes, comments, again, are greatly appreciated. If you want a private read, the information is in the description. So let me pull your theme of the month card and we will get started. So let's see what this month has in store for you guys as far as love. And again, this is for singles and anybody looking to reconcile. And cards are falling out, sorry, so I'm gonna put those back in. So Pisces, I don't know, it's been very interesting with you guys. I know there's been some interesting energy. Jeez, your cards are falling all over the place here. Okay, so we'll take this. That's the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is about love, peace, joy, family. I guess not so much about love, like finding love or meeting the love of your life. It's not a love card generally, but it's about wanting whatever it is you want. So whatever brings you joy in life, brings you peace. The Ten of Cups is about family. It's about friendships. It's about building bonds and connections. So your theme of the month is, you know, your intent on building deep connections. And these are really deep, solid connections. These aren't just, you know, whims or fantasies. These are attainable connections. So if you're single, this definitely says you're looking for the bigger picture. You're looking for, you know, going the extra mile. Some of you just want to meet somebody to date exclusively, and others want marriage or kids or, you know, adopt pets, etc. So this says no matter what your goal is, if you're single, you really have that mindset going on this month. If you're looking to reconcile, this is also a deeper connection. So this means this was somebody that you possibly saw these bigger things with, and you're hoping, and I kind of get the feeling that you're hoping that if you do reconcile, you can attain that. But if you don't reconcile, you still have that bigger picture, so you know what your goals are regardless of whether that happens. So the next card you have is your current position coming into the month. And you have the Knight of Wands. So your current position coming into the month of March, you have a card that is very dutiful. Somebody who kind of, you know, knows what they want, goes after it, very daring, very confident. Again, you know, just kind of rising to the top, so to speak. You're looking for something truly amazing, and you have like this confidence about you that you're going to find it. So the Knight of Wands is somebody who's just energetic and charming. And so if you're single, you're feeling this energy and you're putting it out into the universe, hoping that it's going to reflect back. You're being this, you know, kind of, you know, knight riding in a horse, or that's your mentality that, you know, I'm going to find somebody amazing and bring her back on, you know, on the back of my horse with me. You're just kind of weeding through a lot of crap and looking for somebody pretty amazing, somebody that you really feel you could have this type of connection or that type of energy with. If you're looking to reconcile, the Knight of Wands is somebody who's also very confident and energetic about potentially meeting somebody amazing. And I just said that. And so it may be that you're looking to meet somebody new, but that's really weird because it almost felt like the two were melding together, like singles or not. So if you're looking to reconcile, you may be done with that person. There may be a connection that you know is going to end. There's going to be some sort of closure there. And so you may be doing the closure. They may be doing the closure. It may be like, you know, a team type effort. But if you're looking to reconcile and there is some sort of connection or there is a possibility, you're going to be daring. You're going to be going for it. Like, let's say you guys separated because one of you wanted to get married and the other one didn't. There may be like a proposal in the next month or two because it's just like all or nothing. You're feeling very like putting it all out on the line. It's either you take the chance now or you don't take the chance. So very interesting. We'll see. It's interesting energy here, Pisces, I have to say. The next card you have is anything you're feeling internally in March, coming into March, and you have the Nine of Swords. So that's a very different energy than the Knight. So this is kind of how you're acting, but this is kind of how you're feeling. So this is kind of an anxiety or a stress or a depression, so to speak. This is not knowing what's happening, not knowing what's going on, and feeling very anxious about it, feeling fear about it. So if you're single, you're putting on this brave face, but you're kind of like, what if I never meet that person? Or what if I met that person and, you know, it didn't come to fruition? But the universe has a way of making it happen, so it will come to fruition. But this is definitely fear of the unknown, of what if. There's a lot of what ifs here, or a lot of, you know, how am I going to make this happen? Or, you know, am I ever going to meet this person? Or am I ever going to find the person that I can develop that with? So, you know, keep this brave face, but then make sure that you allow that to resonate on the inside too. That's super important. Now, the Nine of Swords, if you're looking to reconcile, that really tells me that some of you are ready to come in, you know, on this blazing saddle being like, I'm back, I want you, I want to be with you, I need you, my life isn't the same without you. And you're going, shit, what if they look at me and laugh and say, hey, boyfriend, you know, somebody else comes into the picture, or they're like, hey, I already met somebody. So there is some fear here, but I think you should really pay attention to this energy and let it overtake that energy, because you never know. I mean, if you don't try, but again, you have this bigger picture here. So if it doesn't work, or if you are freaking out and your worst fear comes into play, especially if you're looking to reconcile, what's the worst that can happen? You won't be together? We're not together now. So it really can't feel too much worse. I mean, I get it. Easier said than done if you find out they met somebody, but you have this confidence of knowing that eventually you'll find somebody that you can build on that with. The next card you have is your distant past. So over the past 5-10 years, could be in your childhood. You have the Three of Pentacles or the Three of Coins. This is about teamwork. This is about accomplishment. So sometimes you get kind of a negative card in this face, and sometimes you get a positive card. And this is saying what you really need to take into consideration are all of the things that you did like about past partnerships, all of the accomplishments and satisfaction you did feel with a past partner. So maybe you had somebody amazing and it didn't work out for whatever reason. And I always read this together for singles and anybody looking to reconcile, because you know, generally this isn't the person you're looking to reconcile with. Sometimes, but most of the time it's not. It's a long time ago. So this is also watching like parents or grandparents, or seeing a couple that was successful, that really, you know, hit the ground running together and always, you know, did things for each other and always took care of each other and always, you know, still treated it like a first date, even if it was like their 300th date. So somewhere along the line, you saw a couple that maybe you'd want to emulate, or people who inspired you to accomplish that type of relationship. And you're feeling like you can do that again this month. You're kind of torn on how you're going to do it or how you're going to go about it. Even if you're looking to reconcile, you're kind of like, how do we get this satisfaction back between us? How do we accomplish things together and be a bigger team and build together? And if you're single, you're wanting what you know people have had, and you just haven't necessarily been successful at it yet. The next card you have is your immediate past. So over the past 2 weeks, past month or so, and you have the Page of Swords. So you have a lot of sword energy here. I'm noticing this, well, these two, but anyways, I don't know why, for some reason it felt like a lot of sword energy, which is air, which is Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. So maybe you're dealing with them. But the Page of Swords is somebody who is also very confident, knows what they want, but not willing to just settle. And that seems to be kind of a theme for you as well. This is somebody who's seeking some sort of clarity or truth. They just want to learn about things. They just want to learn about people. So if you're dating, the page is saying, look, you're really seeking right now. Like, you have an idea of how you're going to get to this place, and you're feeling confident about it, but also scared, which the two kind of go hand in hand. And the page is saying, look, you're just going to keep holding out until you find what you want. And you're not being conceited about it. You're not being rude. You're not like, oh, you're not good enough. You're not, but you're dating, you know, different people. If you haven't been, you will be. But this is also learning the truth about you and what you really want. If you just want to date and you don't want to settle down eventually, and you just want somebody great to take adventures with, but you don't want to have to get married, you don't want to have to, you know, move into something that serious or that committed, then you're looking for that specifically. So whatever it is, Pisces, you're looking for, you're really figuring out what the best fit would be for you. And some of you are really trying to figure out what it is you want. Some of you didn't want marriage or kids, and you're going, well, I'm getting older now, or there were certain things I didn't want, but there was a close scare. Maybe you had a health scare. Maybe there was some things, if you didn't, you may now. And if you did before, maybe you're going, I'm happy if I just meet somebody really cool and genuine to hang out with. If you're looking to reconcile, there's definitely a truth seeking here. So there may be some unanswered questions. Maybe they were unfaithful. Maybe you were unfaithful. There's definitely something here that in the past 2 weeks, past month or so, like you're like, okay, I'm going to go for it because we have unanswered questions and they need to know the truth. Maybe, you know, you wronged them or they wronged you, but regardless, you're going on saying, I'm going to make it right. And they may be doing that with you if they're the ones who wronged you. So this Page of Swords is definitely saying, I'm going to set this right. Like, I can see the bigger picture here. And if this is what I want and I want to get this, or I want to covet this energy, then I can, but I need to let this person know, like, hey, this is what I feel like. This is what I want. And for some of you, I really feel like that you're going to be going after this person, or they're going to be coming after you. And it's going to be like, you know, something big, like, hey, move in with me, or hey, you know, I don't know, there's something here, but you're nervous about it, which rightfully so. All right. The next card you have is your distant future. So over the next month or two, usually within about 90 days, and you have the 10 of Coins or 10 of Pentacles. So the 10 of Coins or 10 of Pentacles is really understanding, again, you have a lot of cards that are kind of like, you know what you want, so you're going to go for them. And the 10 of Pentacles is kind of putting the pieces in the area that they need to be, and having some sort of legacy, or feeling very generous. This is somebody who's very generous with their heart, who kind of has excess. So like, you're going to take this energy and turn it into this, where you're like, you know, now that so if you're single, this says you may meet somebody and you're going to feel like you want to pour your heart out to them. You're going to feel like overwhelmed, overjoyed that, hey, I finally met somebody that I can be myself with, that I can genuinely talk to. We want the same things. And this is feeling like you could literally leave a legacy with this person, or yeah, I mean, leave a legacy with this person, have the marriage, or have whatever it is you want. Again, it's going to be different for everybody. Some people never want to get married. They don't want kids, etc. But this is going to be somebody that you meet that you're like, hey, I could see myself possibly having kids with, if that's what you want, or possibly, you know, moving in together with. So very positive here. It's going to be kind of slow roll, and I feel like it's going to take you a little time to find them, but it's coming sooner than later. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, this is very much you guys coming together and saying, look, we both feel the same way. We both have our heartstrings in this. We're both, you know, wanting the same things, but how do we get there? How do we figure this out? Like, where do we move the pieces? Where do we move how do we play the game in order to get there, to get over whatever the hurt was, or get over whatever kept us from being together? The next card you have is your immediate future. So over the next few weeks throughout the month of March, now you have the 5 of Swords. So again, you do have a lot of sword energy here. You also have pentacle energy, but the sword energy is, again, air, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. And then you have the pentacle energy, both past and future, which is Earth, Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. So you have the 5 of Swords, which means the next couple of weeks, even though you're coming in feeling like this, or doing this, and then feeling like this a little bit, the 5 of Swords kind of continues, and not in a bad way, but it kind of continues that a little bit of nervous energy, so to speak, because the 5 of Swords is somebody who's looking over their back. They feel like maybe they're, somebody's dishonoring them or defeating them to a certain extent. So if you're single, make sure that you're putting out the right vibes and that the person's giving back the right vibes, because I feel like this says you may meet a few people that you think, oh, they could be really great, And then you're going to be disappointed because they're not what you thought they were, or they're, you know, and that's just part of dating, right? So that's just part of dating, whether it's online or meetup groups. You know, people change. So you may have met somebody or a few people that you're dating and somebody says, you're not for me. And you're kind of like, dude, sorry, or lady. I don't know why I said dude. I never say dude either. So woo, Pisces, I don't know. Something about your read, it's got me like all over the place. But this is, you know, you saying, hey, that sucks, you know, that they're not into me because I really like them. Or it may be, who was it recently? Another sign got this a lot through their read, where it was like they couldn't connect because it was almost like they would meet people that they thought were really cool, and that those people just weren't interested in them. And then the people who were interested in them, they weren't. And that kind of feels like this too. Like you're going, what the heck? You know, you told me you were looking for this, and then we talk about it, and I'm thinking, hey, there's a possibility of, you know, a dating commitment here. And they're like, no, sorry. It's like a fear of victory. You thought, wow, this person's amazing. And then all of a sudden they drop off the face of the earth, or ghost, or do whatever it is that people do now. That's, I think it's really childish. Or it could be you doing that. Not necessarily ghosting, but it could be you. Look, Pisces have such an amazing water sign quality, because you are a water sign. But, you know, out of the different water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. Cancer can be very emotional and then turn it off. And be very emotional and then turn it off. Pisces can too, but sometimes you get over emotional in situations you know you shouldn't. Like, you almost have feelings for somebody that you know you really shouldn't. Or if you do have feelings for somebody, you err on the side of caution. So you can kind of turn it on and off like Cancer, only they can be a little more emotional with it, where you guys can kind of put a mask on it a little bit, where Scorpio can put a major mask on. I feel like you're kind of in the middle between Cancer and Scorpio, because Scorpio can be like, nope, I don't like you at all, but they actually really do. They just pretend. And then you guys are kind of in between. You can be like, well, I like you, but I don't know if I like you that much. But inside you're really like, I really like this person. So I feel like there's going to be a few times this month, if you're single, where you're going to feel like, hey, come on, like, I thought you were this great person, and now, like, it's not working out. What's going on? Or you told me this is what you want, and now you're telling me, hey, I just kind of want to be single. So don't allow that to take away any positive feelings, because you have this 10 here, which is, again, finding somebody that you could really have that legacy with, that you could build on something amazing with. So just be careful not to get, you know, burnt on it just because of a few bad apples. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, this is, your reading's half and half, which a lot of reads have been, but most have been one or the other. But this is very 50-50. Either you think it's really going to work out, or they're telling you, oh yeah, let's try it again, and then it doesn't, and it does not work out. Or it just is going to take a little more work. But this definitely says you might at some point this month feel defeated, like, this isn't going to work, or I can't get through to them. And it may be that, you know, maybe you did something that you need to really work on, because maybe there was, you know, dishonesty or cheating, or, you know, maybe you were grouchy, or whatever it is. But it's also the flip side. It could be that they were grouchy, or they cheated, or whatnot. And so there might be a little bit of back and forth where you're feeling like finger pointing and they're feeling like finger pointing. So just be careful with that. If it's something you really want, then, you know, go after it, like this Knight of Wands. The next card you have is anything tangible throughout the month, anything that you can see, you know, or feel, or that's going to come in front of you throughout the month, not necessarily internally. This is externally. And you have the Three of Wands. And I love the Three of Wands, because this is about partnership and planning. So this is, yes, if you're single, this says, hey, there's a big possibility you could meet somebody that you would want to build on this Ten of Cups energy with, that you would want to have this legacy with. Because the Three of Wands is saying, hey, you know, I don't know exactly where we're going with this, but this is some sort of planning and partnership and growth. So if you're single, I really feel like you may deal with a little bit of this energy, but you'll definitely have an opportunity somewhere. Now, I don't think it's going to be like a bunch of people. I don't think it's going to be a plethora of dating, but I think it'll be like a diamond in the rough, or a needle in the haystack, where you're like, huh, I could actually see myself building something with this person. They all of a sudden make me want to plan things like this. They make me want to plan this joy, this peace, this family. When I'm with them, I feel at peace. I feel at peace when I'm communicating with them more than I do with most people. There's some sort of peace that this person's going to bring into your life, and it's going to feel really good. I don't know why your reading is totally throwing me off, Pisces. It's crazy. It's a weird energy. It's a really weird energy. It's like kind of chaotic. And it's funny because I know a couple Pisces. One is a chick that I really adore, and she knows, and she might watch this at some point in the next day or two, and she knows I think she's phenomenal, but she knows that it's been kind of all over the place and she's had decisions to make and whatever. So I kind of feel like, you know, that energy's really flowing into the read. Not her energy, just Pisces in general, because then I work with a Pisces and she's been all over the place. So maybe it's just Pisces energy right now. So if you're looking to reconcile, this is you seeing the bigger picture again. But, you know, you have to do it as a team. This is about, again, teamwork, partnership, planning. So I think there might be some moments like this where it's negative energy, where it's like, nope, cut and run, or they're going to want to cut and run. But I think there's going to be something that pushes you guys in the direction of, we could actually have a happy home, happy life, happy, you know, have kids, get married, etc. So if you're looking to reconcile, this flips it to a more positive energy of, you know, getting back together. But it takes two, and you guys have to agree to not do this finger pointing or stabbing each other. You got to just get over it and say, it happened, it sucks, but if it's what you both want, both parties have to be completely willing to work on it, though. The next card you have is anything internal throughout the month you're going to feel. See, your energy is all over the place. You have this for your external and then this for your internal. You have this for your external and then this for your internal. It's like your internal are all swords, and then your externals, you know, these beautiful things or amazing things. So internally, you're feeling like the Eight of Swords. Now, these two cards could be in the beginning, the middle, the end of the month. It could be for one day. It could be for 3 hours. But you have the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is somebody who's trapping themselves and imprisoning themselves or controlling themselves in some sort of self-doubt or confusion. So if you're single, I think you're going to feel confused. I think there are going to be some people throwing you off. I think you're going to meet somebody and you're going to think they're great, and it turns out they're talking to 5 other people and all of a sudden they disappear. Or you're going to be talking to a couple people and there's like 2 that you really like and 1 you kind of mediocre like, and the 2 that you really like disappear, and the 1 you mediocre like, you're like, what just happened here? So not that it's a bad thing, but you're keeping yourself in that position. If you're single and you really know what you want, then you'll keep going after it. But I feel like you're going to throw yourself off, like you're going to be confused, and yet then after, when you think about it, you're going to be like, well, they weren't really the right person for me. But this is you doubting yourself. This is you doubting this capable energy. Here, you have 2 people with swords that are attacking this charming, this great, valiant energy. So don't do that. You're doing this to yourself. Again, these are internal cards. And again, you have a lot of swords, which means, you know, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra involved here. But if you're single, this person could literally walk out the front door, but instead they're doing this. So either you're picking the wrong people, you're going about it wrong, you're dating people that have the red flags, this person says, oh, I'm, you know, not looking, I'm just looking for something casual, and all of a sudden you think you can change them because you're attracted to them and make them want this type of life. And then all of a sudden when they don't, you're going, well, why don't you? Well, because they were really pretty clear, but because Pisces have a good heart and want to believe in the good in people, you thought, well, I'll treat them really well, and therefore sorry, my cat just scared the crap out of me. Therefore, I'll be this charming, wonderful person, and they won't be able to not want to be with me. Well, it's not going to be you, it's going to be them. But at some point in the month, you're going to feel self-doubt. And don't, because I feel like people are going to tell you who they are or what they want, and you're just going to kind of skip over that because maybe you're attracted or because something's pulling at your heartstrings. So just make sure that you're not going out there wanting to meet somebody just to say you have somebody, but that you're going out there to meet somebody that you truly want to be with. The next card you have, I just did it again. I apologize. If you're looking to reconcile, this is self-imprisonment. This is trying to control a situation you can't and keeping yourself locked into it. Because, look, I'm going to say this. You guys know if this situation is good for you or not, but you're choosing to not use your intuition. And I would say this month is a really good month to use your intuition, because you're trying to control a situation. You cannot control it. And you know that. And you internally know it is not going to go the way you want. So if you want to reconcile and they're being completely honest with you and they can see this bigger picture and they can see this bigger picture, great. But if they're standoffish at all or they're not giving you the right vibes, then they can't see that, and you have the choice to move on. For some of you, you already know it's not going to work, but you're keeping yourself like at their mercy. And for others of you, you really think it could work, but for whatever reason, maybe you're holding yourself at bay because you're like, well, if I put my heart on the line, then, and I get hurt, then I don't want to. At some point, you're going to have to take the leap and go for it. Or if they're communicating with you, you need to either decide, yes, we can work on it, but be wholehearted. Again, if you don't want that, then move on and cut the ties. If you want that, then go for it full force. I kind of feel like, Pisces, this is your month to either make it or break it. If you don't make it, or it's not what you want, then you're going to cut it off. And you need to cut it off and just be done with it. And if you are going to go for it, put your all into it. And really, like, you know, no self-doubt. Know that this is what you want, and this is the bigger picture for you. All right, the next card you have is your hopes and fears for the outcome of the month. So you have the Six of Wands, and this is wanting to achieve something. This is pride. This is feeling good about something. So again, this is internal, but this is saying, look, if you're single, this definitely says you're going to meet somebody that you potentially could see this energy with, that you could see this and this with. So there's some sort of success or victory here where you meet somebody, or maybe you meet a couple people, but they actually seem like they're genuine. It doesn't seem like they're, you know, they're pulling the wool or being, you know, disingenuine, basically. And it's interesting because you have the Knight of Wands coming in with this energy of charming and confidence, and that's like how you're ending it internal. So this is you getting over all this negative energy. This is you internally going, okay, I can do this. I do have the power to do this. I do have the power to meet somebody incredible. I do have the power to manifest what I want and meet somebody amazing. So this definitely says at the end of the month, you're going to feel like, okay, I'm finally meeting people who really have the same goals and ideas. Something is going to kick into motion for you where you're going to meet somebody that you're like, okay, I'd like to spend some time with them. And then when you talk about it, they reciprocate that instead of you meeting, you know, these people who are just disingenuine about it. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, this is some sort of step in the right direction on whichever you want to go. I know you're probably like, Dark Dove, if I'm watching this, then I want, but no, not necessarily. People torture themselves with reconciliation. We've all been there. People torture themselves with it. So this is either you get over it, you move on, you guys decide to part your separate ways, or I feel like it's more victorious for you. Like you guys head into this type of energy, accomplishing things, teamwork, we're going to work at it. And this Six of Wands is saying, okay, now we're starting to feel success again. Now we're starting to get back in the groove. Now there's a possibility that I could see this with this person. We just needed to get over the hump of a few things. The last card you have is your outcome for the month. So your outcome for the month is kind of reversed. Isn't that funny? That it's reversed because this is the actual outcome. That's internal. And here, this is your current position and that was internal. So all of a sudden you're switching to swords on the outside. You have the Two of Swords. Again, all the sword energy. So it could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And I've said that 8 times, but it's still the same thing. The Two of Swords is about, again, this imprisonment. So you're trying to control things. But this is about decision making. It's about choice. It's about duality. So if you're single, you definitely have to make a choice. You may have to make a choice between 1 or 2 people. Well, obviously between 2 people. I don't know why I said 1. But you definitely have to make a choice between a few people, or you need to make a choice on, you know, maybe you're dating somebody and you're like, well, I'm not quite sure how far I want to go with them. There's going to be some decision making here, but you have this fear almost of, like, you're going to have this emotion of, oh, they could be the one. But then something here is coming in going, well, I don't know. It's like this duality in your head. Like, oh, they seem really great. And for the first time, I'm feeling confident in it inside, right? Because internally, you're not feeling so good in the beginning of the month. But here at the end of the month, you're feeling confident. But then all of a sudden, you're switching gears. Because now you're second guessing yourself here. You're going, is this person for me? What if I make the wrong decision? And that's the biggest fear for you if you're single. Like, you've made bad decisions before, or they've made it for you. Like, you thought, hey, this is a great person. There was no reason not to think that. And then whatever, there was some reason that they didn't, you know, go with you, or something got mucked up, which happens to everybody. That's dating nowadays. It sucks sometimes. But then other times it's really fulfilling and rewarding. So I feel like some of you feel like you're going to have to make some sort of choice, and it's a pretty important choice, and you don't know which way to go with it. All of a sudden you're second guessing, even though you're feeling like this. So if you feel like this about somebody, then I would go for it. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in a stalemate where you just don't do anything, and either they're going to walk off or you're going to walk off and it doesn't work. But if you're feeling amazing energy, then just go for it. So now I'm shuffling your clarifying cards. But if you're looking to reconcile, you have, this definitely tells me that you have to make a choice this month, that you're going to have to make a choice. It's not going to make it for you. You know, the universe is going to give you all the keys and all of the signs that you need. But for some reason, and I think that may be why I'm off in your read a little bit, because I feel like you guys have the signs, but you're not paying attention. And the one thing that water signs have more than any other sign, honestly, is that intuition, is that gut feeling that they need to follow. And for some reason, Pisces, I feel like this month you're just not. Like, you know, and then you do everything to the contrary. So if you're looking to reconcile, you guys definitely need, oh, that's sweet. You guys definitely need to make some decisions. If it's what you want, then go for it. Then be this knight. If it's not what you want, then cut ties. But it's like, make a decision already. And I feel like some of you need to make a decision already, because it feels like it's been, you know, on your mind for a long time. Now, your clarifying card for the outcome is Temperance, which is about patience, balance, and control. So this is about knowing whether this is something that you can control. This is about knowing, and this is also Sagittarius' card, by the way. So you may be dealing with Sagittarius, but Temperance is about seeing the bigger picture and doing everything in moderation and being able to compromise. So if you're single, this is about, you know, date, but then take some time off. Date, then take some time off. Don't push anything. Balance it out. If you really like somebody, take your time with it. If you really like somebody, make a decision to talk to them about it, to have that conversation, but also balance it out. Don't put it on too thick. But then at the same time, know when to, you know, push the boundaries a little bit, but pull back. I feel like a lot of you are nervous about, you know, scaring people off, or you just feel like for whatever reason the dating hasn't gone very well. And Temperance is saying, okay, then have that moderation in mind. Have the conversation if you really like somebody. Hey, I really like you. I'd like to see you again, and maybe see you, you know, exclusively. But your gut this month is going to tell you if that's the appropriate time to do it, then you'll do it. If it's not, then compromise. Say, hey, I'd like to see you more often instead of exclusively, or whatever it is for you. If you're looking to reconcile, this is about balance and moderation and compromise as well, but in a different aspect. You guys are not going to come back together and automatically agree on everything. You're not going to come back together and everything's going to be roses and beautiful and everything's going to be wonderful. This is you guys coming back together and having to compromise. There are some things you're not going to be able to fix, some things you're never going to agree on. If you love each other and it's worth it, then you'll do it. If you can't do it and you can't get past it without fighting, and you guys cannot agree on something, then it's time to let it go. Now, your clarifier for the outcome is beautiful. You have the Star, which is hope and inspiration. So whether you're single or reconciling or wanting to reconcile, I'm going to read this together, because the Star is about having that hope and inspiration. So either way, if you're single, this is hope that you're going to find this legacy. You're going to find this peace. If you're looking to reconcile, here's hope that if you are meant to be, into this generosity between each other and this theme of finding that peace, that joy, that family. So I love the fact you ended on the Star. It's very positive. I hope you guys have an amazing month. I'll see you soon.